Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a drop-down list in ASP.NET using Razor syntax and .NET SelectListItem. So I'm having an empty solution here where I'm going to add a new application, and it's an empty application, so I just say drop-down list. Okay, and I would just create a drop down list first, demo, make it read log. Okay, so as an empty application where you can see that there's nothing in here. So what I'm gonna do is I will add a folder, say controllers, for my controller, and I will add a very simple controller into this application because the idea is just to show you how you can actually create a list of items in your controller and then pass it to the view so that you can display the list of items in the drop-down list. So the list of items is here, and you can see that there's a lot of action, but I would just use the index action. So for this action I add another view so I can actually view my drop-down list, and it is an empty view with no data. So you can see that the view is really empty, and I'm gonna go back to this controller and change my controller so it can display some lists. Alright, now in a drop-down list you can see that normally you have a list of items and then you can select an item from the drop-down list. In MVC in .NET, in ASP.NET, there's this class called SelectListItem, and it is basically the same as an item in a drop-down list. So in my controller, if I create a list of this select list item, I can actually pass it to my view to be displayed in a drop-down list. I will show you later, but what I will do now is I'm gonna create this list of items. So is you a new list? Alright, good. And each of this item in the list is a select list item, so I will go ahead and create a new item, say item number 1, and new select list item. Okay, so I'm gonna just initialize this item with some value here, and if you see this list, you see that each list item, select list item, will have some attributes, and the most important ones are see whether the item is selected, what is the text that's going to be displayed in the drop-down list, and the value when you select. Okay, so I'm going to give each of these attributes some values, say text is equal to banana, because I'm going to create a list of fruits, for example. Value is equal to 1 when it is selected, and I say selected is equal to true. Okay, so the first one going to be selected, and I will create few more items in the same way. So I'm gonna paste it, say item 2, 3, and this is apple, the value is 2, and this is not selected. The last one is orange. How do you spell it? Okay, and 3, selected is equal to false. Okay, so I have these items. What I will do is add it to my list items. So say item.add, and I'm gonna add item number 1 to my list. Okay, oops, that's wrong. So item 1. Alright, and I will add all other items in my list same way. Add item 2 and item 3 into the list. That's done, And the next thing is I need to pass this list of items to my view so I can actually display it in the drop down list. So basically there's this object called view bag. Alright, view bag is an object where it actually stores temporary data in your application so that you can actually pass the data from your controller to your view. View bag doesn't have any attribute, so if you want to if you want to store any data, you just add attributes to view bag. Say I need to store a fruit items, so I just add this and assign it to the items that I have just created, and then after that just return the view, and you can use this in your view. So let's go to the view and quickly add something to the view so we can see. Alright, so food list testing, and I will add a drop down list here using razor syntax and some HTML helper. So HTML drop down list, you can see that it's available, and the first parameter here is I'm gonna fit in here a list of items, and I can use the list of items that I've stored in my view bag, which is fruit items. The very important thing here is you have to make sure that this attribute's name is the same as the thing that you're gonna use in your view. So I will have to copy this one, and I will just put it here to make sure that I'm using the same name. The next parameters here is some option label, which I don't have any. The next one is some HTML attributes. Normally for a list, it's like when you change when you select an item in the list and the list is changed, what you're gonna do with it, right? So I'm gonna create a new attribute, HTML attribute here. Okay, so the most commonly used attribute in a list, in a drop down list, is basically a non-change. Alright, that means when you select a value, what happens. So I'm gonna pass in the sorry, not this one, that is here. I'm gonna pass in a location of a web page where the thing will the web page will be redirected to upon clicking some item in the drop down list. So reference, and I'm gonna just say that when you click an item on the list, it will be redirected to the same page. And take note that we are having a controller called default controller, and the action here is index. So I just like go back to default, alright, and /index. Okay, and I want to pass in the value of the item that has been selected. So sorry, put a double quote here, of the item that has been selected. Say value is equal to and add this value, means the value of the item that has been selected. Alright, done. So once you are done with this, I'm gonna put it in a new line so you can see easily. Once you are done with this, you can try to run the application and see whether the drop down list has been displayed. So when you run the application, you can see that the drop down list is here, and you can see apple orange here, and when you click apple, you see that it is redirected to this page, okay, with the value selected is 0.2. However, you see that the value selected is not actually set here because we didn't do anything with it. So let's try to quickly change the default controller to handle this. So we need to handle a value here, and let's say if the value is not now, means that there's some item being selected. So not now. What we're gonna do is we will set the item being selected is equal to this. Okay, so our list of items, Alright, and this is how we select where item, this is just a variable, say I, and I dot value, okay, is equal to the value that has been selected here, which is a value, and we are comparing string here, so to string, and there might be more than one items with the same value, so say the first one, okay, and set selected is equal to true. So once we've done this, whenever there's one item that has been selected in the drop down list, it will be set to true and it will be reflected on the page itself. So save this and run the application again to see whether it has been changed. So if you run the application again, you can see that the list is here, and say if I select Apple, it will be redirected to this page, but Apple is actually been selected, so the controller is actually working. So to summarize, to display, to create a drop-down list in ASP.NET, what you could do is you could create a list of select list item in your controller and then pass it to the view, and then the view can just fit it into a drop-down list and being displayed. So instead of the data being hard-coded here, you can actually get the data from the database through your data source layer or the gateway, and then you can just create a list of select list item from the things that you've got from your database, and then it could be displayed in your view the same way.